got cut off. All right, so we'll end, we'll end with the second video, but so a compound continuously is another formula, and that is your PERT formula, and that is with your multiplier being about 2.72, and that's the only difference. If you see the word compounding continuously, that's where you use your PERT formula. So everything else is still the same. The only difference is you have that multiplier of E. So here's an example where 2,000 is invested at an annual interest rate of 9%. Again, that's insane. Compare the final amounts after, we'll just roll with it. Compare the final amounts after 13 years for interest compounded quarterly and then continuously. So we have quarterly, that's one, and then continuously is another. So quarterly would be if we had 2,000, 1 plus, and we took our 9% interest rate and we divided it by 4, and then 13 times 4 is giving us 52 times that it would be compounded total. So that would be our compounded quarterly. Our compounded continuously would be 2,000, and then our multiplier would be E, or our base would be E, and then the rate is 0.09 times 13, and it's just really important that you put both of those in your exponent when you plug them in your calculator. Okay, so the quarterly would give us that much money, and continuously would give us that much money. So you see the difference there. So same amount of time, continuously is going to give us a little bit more money. So that's your compounded interest formulas, and those are exponential growth, as you see, right? And you can play around with these formulas too. So I should be able to ask you, can you find the initial? And we'll do more practice with those too. And then eventually with logs, we'll be able to figure out the exponents too. We'll be able to figure out the time. All right, go ahead and then to the next page. We're gonna close out with solving. This is our last concept, and we're gonna have a short quiz on this stuff on Monday, and it's just gonna be graphing and then compound interest and then solving. So these are exponents you must memorize. You need to know these. So these should be known by heart. They should be practiced. They should be really, really well known. It will make your life easier, because if you don't know these, you're going to have a much harder time with these numbers. Negative exponents know really, really well. Okay, I'm filling all these out, but again, you want to practice these. 1/16th, 1/25th. You want to know these really well, and this is why. Okay, so when we solve exponentials, this is how we do a matchup. I'll go back up so you can see all those. You want to know those really, really well. So put know, like know these really well. So when we solve exponentials, we want to, it's almost like a puzzle or a matchup. So when we look at the left-hand side, we want to get the right-hand side to look like the left. So what I'm going to do is, some of you will be able to do this in your head right away, but I'm going to rewrite the right-hand side with a base of 2. So 8 would be 2 to the 3rd. So I know my x would have to be 3. You see how that works? So the power would have to be 3. So when I get to harder ones like this, watch this again. So I want it to match. So again, remember I said you need to know these really well. So 16, I'm rewriting it as a base of 2, it would be to the power of 4. So see how that's a match? And then my x plus 3 is equal to 4. So it's kind of like a decoding. It's pretty cool, that exponential, how that works. So then we just subtract 3, and we get x equals 1. So we're actually figuring out what the exponent has to be. Okay, we're going to do it again here. So this one's a little trickier. So watch this. We have 3, and we don't have a power, so we know it's 1. Okay. Now this is trickier. I need to get this to be 3. So this is 3 to the 3rd. And then you have a 5x minus 1. Now you need to remember your power to power rules. If you have 3 to the 1st here, then you have 3 and you distribute 15x minus 3 here. So power to a power rules, remember you multiply the powers. So then 1 would equal 15x minus 3. That's a little bit of a harder one. So I'm going to have to practice that one a little bit more. So you get 4 equals 15x. And so x equals 4 over 15. Yeah, that was more of a challenging one. So we'll do more practice on those. Okay, this one should be a little bit easier though on D. We have 5 to the 1 minus 2x. And 1/5, how do I get that to be 5? It's 5 to the negative 1. So then 1 minus 2x is equal to negative 1. Subtract the 1. We get negative 2. X equals. You see that? All right, and you can try these. It looks like I need a base of 3 for both of these. So it would be 3 to the 2nd, and then 3 to the negative 1. You see how that works? So then 2x equals negative 1, 2. So you have to get it to match. You want the bases to match. That's what you want to match. Okay, this one. So this is tricky. We have 2 to the x, and then we have a negative 4. 2 to the negative 2nd won't work because that's 1 over. Is there any 2 to a power that will give negative 4? The answer is no. That's no solution. Okay. All right, let's try a few more. All right, so we have here, looks like we need a base of 2. So this would be 2 to the negative 1. And we're going to distribute it to 3x minus 6. And this would be 2 to the 3rd, and we're going to distribute it plus 1. So we have negative 3x plus 6 equals 3x plus 1. Subtract the 6. And we get, subtract the 3x. Get negative 6x equals negative 3. X equals. That was a little bit of a harder one. Okay. This one's tricky. We're going to have to talk about H and I when we come back together. So you won't have ones as hard as that in your homework. So we will definitely talk about those tomorrow. Okay, but we'll end with that. All right, so you have some practice in that in your homework. I want you to fill out an exit slip before you go today. So the 2 things that we had talked about today were compound interest and solving exponentials. These are going to be fun. I know you'll like these. These are actually pretty cool. You just kind of have to make a match on both sides. So, and some of them will go pretty quickly. All right. So make sure you check your work, talk to each other, and I will see you tomorrow. All right.